live from Tijuana, Mexico. Here I am with
Bo.
And Mandy.
Now, where are you folks from?
Wickenburg, Arizona.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I know you're from the UK originally.
UK originally, yes.
Okay, transplant.
Yes.
Okay, now, how'd you guys, or what were you looking for when you came down?
So, if I back up a little bit, I ended up here because well, first of all, I knew about you from your YouTube videos, and I went to the dentist because I had a sore tooth, and they said that I needed a root canal. And so I had it scheduled, and about 3 weeks later, a YouTube video popped up with you on it. And since I kind of knew about you, I said, don't get root canals. You should do the alternative, the holistic. So I immediately canceled my appointment, and I scheduled an appointment here. So
isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I know, you learn so much from, I mean, the internet's really good. The censorship sucks, but the events,
Right.
it's got...
But I already said some, I mean, I already believed in what you were doing, right? So it was easy for me to make that decision. and they come here to find out that, in fact, I really didn't need a root canal, that I needed a more holistic approach to my whole dental.
Very cool.
Right. So I learned a lot about not only my teeth, but we also came here to focus on our health. I mean, we're 65 years old, and obviously that's a concern. So
yeah, 65 is what's called the halfway mark.
Yeah.
We're supposed to go to 120. So you're looking at virtual teenagers, okay? You know, it's not a midlife. This is like you're just starting into the second.
And I've been saying, I'm going to live to 120, but how am I going to do it if I don't go take care of myself? Right?
Perfect. You guys like each other, so you want to be there the whole time.
Yeah, we've only been married almost 40 years.
Yeah, so. You know, they kind of enjoy each other's company, so they want it more, another 60 years.
Yeah.
So what'd you come down?
When did we come down?
No, what did you come down for?
I kind of came for the ride.
Okay, but you both went through all the stuff that we do.
Yeah. The whole consultation, the last 2 days has just been like, it's been on steroids, and not literally steroids, but so impressed though with the quality of everything. The staff here are absolutely amazing. They're just, and you're so funny.
Well, okay. Well, you compared yourself to an animal. Okay, an owl. You mentioned that your head moves a lot better.
Yes.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah, I've always had, really bad neck problems because I was rear-ended about 30 years ago, and I've always had this stiff neck problem. And I woke up this morning and I'd only had, four adjustments, yeah. And all of a sudden I was like, holy moly. I
That's 90 degrees.
Isn't it cool?
Right.
I know.
And I think he said when the first assessment, I think I was 50 degrees here and 60 degrees there, and that hurt to get that much.
Oh, you were
motion.
straining to get that 60 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you've been hurt like 20, 30 years, the cool thing with you is that you had good joints. There was no fusions. So it doesn't really matter how long ago it was, because we've seen joint injuries, 50, 60 years old without fusion. We've seen joints 5 to 10 years old that are starting to fuse. So it really depends on your maintenance, your lifestyle, what you're actually doing. Okay, if you're taking non-steroidal anti-inflammatories like a drug for pain, that destroys the building block of cartilage. I mean, if you're taking that every day, the ligaments isn't going to function well.
Right.
Yeah, you're talking fusion. So what's your overall experience? Because there's so many people out there with injuries 30, 40 years old, and they own it. Yeah, I was hit 30 years ago and I can't move, or I had health issues before. I mean, the fact that you're not going to get a root canal, thank you, God, and you don't need it.
Well, you know what? So, I mean, I was a contractor my whole life. So, I framed houses in my 20s, packing lumber. So I've had a strain on my whole spinal system while, going through. But I used to go to chiropractors. I was always skeptical. I'd get pinched nerves and they could never really fix it. They just sent me home to do a ice pack, right? And then they'd want a bunch of adjustments and nothing that ever happened, right? So when I came here and you explained it to me, right? And we went through the whole routine, and the fact that you've got this clinic is built out with so many different departments. So it's not just one focus, right? It's a whole holistic approach, right? So when you start tying in everything that you learn in that first day that you're here, it's incredible. So now when you explain to me why it's so important for my spine to be straight and everything to function properly, it's something that I couldn't relate to just going to chiropractor back in my 20s and 30s when I was probably not as knowledgeable as I am today at 65, but I mean, it's important.
You've had a few adjustments.
Right. Yeah, no.
And it's cool.
It is. Yeah. And I've been pretty much tight my whole life. I mean, I came here with my back would cramp up, literally, up until the time we came here. So I'm expecting to go home and not have that problem.
Absolutely. And this is the key. I mean, if you look at your body, because people will say, well, what supplement can I take for back pain? No, there isn't. Your body is intelligent. It gives symptoms for a reason. And the three things you got to address: physical, chemical, and emotional stressors. If you can identify the problem, which is what we do with all the tests, the thermography and the blood analysis and nerve scan and x-rays and all the stuff that we do.
Right.
Okay, we're finding the problem. Okay, and then fix it. The humans are designed to rebuild and repair.
Well, one of the big things for me was, I think it was the thermography where it was kind of seeing where we had stress levels. And I thought, we're pretty low-key people. So we thought, oh, yeah, we're going to be, it'll come out great. Well, all of a sudden you said you guys are like in fight or flight mode constantly. And that was pretty scary because obviously you realize then the stress, physical, emotional, everything stresses you're putting on your whole body. And now learning the different treatments, or not treatments, but the therapies and the things that we can do when we go home, the takeaways of things that we can do to help, reverse all that.
One of the keys, and this is because people don't know, they might think waking up a couple of times at night to pee, but then you go right back to bed as normal. No, that sucks. You're interrupting your healing phase. They think one bowel movement a day is normal. No, 2 to 3 is normal. Okay, if you're in that stress state, and you're in that stress state for so long, you can get used to the stress.
Right.
But that means you're going to have trouble rebuilding your body. Okay. And when we talk about measuring stress, we actually do a nerve scan, actually 3 nerve scans, and we do the live blood cell analysis, and we do the x-rays. We do it again after 30 adjustments so that we can see that we're fixing the problem. This is contractors, engineers, you guys get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, at age 52, I got ulcerative colitis, right? And I knew enough at that point in my life that I shouldn't be taking the medication that they wanted to prescribe. So I fought it for 5 years. I did put it in remission at one point, changing my diet and doing things, but then it came back. I spent 2.5 years fighting it, only to end up losing my colon over it. But I remember just sitting there going, if I just found the right person, the right remedy or whatever, that I could fight and beat this thing. Well, I didn't find the right one, but I honestly feel if I would have come to a place like this where it's focused on the full gamut, there's, people to meet every need, and it's, I probably could have successfully beat it.
Brother, that you're nailing it right there,
Right.
Because the system that we call healthcare now is not really healthcare. They're giving you toxic chemicals to alter your symptoms, and your symptoms are generally a body adapting to stress. So, if you got inflammation and you take a steroid, you'll feel better.
Yeah.
That inflammation is how the body heals, so you're actually doing damage. If you're worried about a leaky gut, you take a poisonous mold. Oh, I'm sorry, what do they call those? Oh, antibiotics. Okay, so to deal with toxic chemicals that aren't addressing the problem but can cause secondary and tertiary issues, that doesn't make sense in my brain.
Yeah. Well, I took what they gave me, little as I could, but it just kept putting me back into the hospital. Then I'd recover again, then I'd be back in the hospital. Right? It's like
It was a vicious cycle.
Oh yeah. And when you're in that state, the surgery is the best option. Right. The only one that they give you. I know my wife, we shared it. She had ulcerative colitis when I first met her. And I think that's the only reason she married me is because we fixed her. But, it's just we removed the problem and the body heals itself. So I didn't really fix her. Okay, we're just removing the stressors, and that's how the body works. And because you folks are totally different. You're taking charge of your health, everything else. What could you tell people out there that don't know? They might think that their dentist told them they need a root canal, or your injury is too old, you can't get it fixed. Or what could you tell people at home that are just like, I want help too. My doctor, taking the drugs isn't working.
Well, first of all, you've got to be in charge of yourself. So when a doctor says, a medical doctor says you need this and this and this. I mean, our history with Bo, with the ulcerative colitis was, all they had was their protocol. We start you on prednisone, you go to this is all drug related, and then the last resort is surgery. You got to do your own research. This is your body, you only get it once. So you got to take care of it and do the research and question. There's so much research online, and that's how we found you.
It's interesting, and now that I think back, right? So my first time I lost 40 pounds, ended up in the hospital. And before I was done, they already had brought a surgeon in to explain to me what the process was to remove my colon. Well, I'm like, what? I go, are you kidding me? So anyway, it was, if you've got any health issues, not come to a clinic like this that has all the diversity all the way from the beginning to end to analyze every aspect of it, and then a team come together and actually, I'm sure you guys have different cases, but to come up with a solution for a problem, major medical problem. And then it starts with chiropractic, right? Which again, I just said, I have a totally different respect for chiropractic than I had when I was just a contractor, young guy, trying to get back to work and my back hurt, right? So,
yeah, the nervous system controls every function. And how many bodies do we have? You just mentioned it. One. You got to take care of it.
Right. Well, the other thing, I kind of liken it to, because we're in construction, we've been in construction forever. It's a good solid house starts with a foundation. In your spinal cord is your foundation. Right? And if that's not working, your house is going to fall down.
Okay, how you talk about research, and this is one of the things that I've always loved, is you get the sperm hitting the egg. Then it goes to 2 cells to 4 to 8 to 16, a mulberry, then it flattens out to a disc, trilaminar disc, then it folds. That fold is the start of what's called this notochord. In the spinal cord, the nervous system is the first system to form, and all the organs grow off of it like fruit on a tree.
Wow.
I know. When you know that, and that's how your body forms, it's like you're talking the base. The central nervous system controls and coordinates every function of the body. That means hormone, immune, everything. So you're right. That's a good foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of your health. How many bodies do you got?
One.
Oh, you only got one, so you got to take care of it. And it doesn't matter if you've been beat up. I've been run over, dropped off a building, the legs broken, and I'm still working pretty good. Okay? Take care of yourself. God bless you.